Married for 8 years, I never got pregnant. My mother-in-law called me a hen that couldn't lay eggs. Arlo's little lover got pregnant. He spread the divorce papers on the table. Sign it, Amara's belly is big. I signed without hesitation. A year later, Arlo called. Isolde, let's get back together. At that moment, I was lying on the operating table. The child's father grabbed his phone. Get lost. Don't disturb my wife while she's giving birth. In the morning, my mother-in-law confronted me. Isolde, do you want to die or what? The porridge is so hot, how am I supposed to drink it? She slammed the table and pointed at my nose, scolding me. I looked at Arlo. He kept his head down, eating breakfast silently. I kept a stern face and glanced at her. Can't you blow it yourself? She expected me to apologize as usual and then help cool her porridge. She was stunned for a few seconds when I talked back. Huh. You're the one who spoiled it before, cooling it down and blowing on it before giving it to me to eat, right? I know Amara is pregnant, and you're unhappy. Who told you you're a chicken that can't lay eggs? You're so cruel. You can't have children, and you won't let others have them either? You're trying to end our family line. What a heavy accusation. My mother-in-law has always been critical about my inability to conceive. I frowned. A chicken that can't lay eggs? I've heard that phrase so many times my ears have calloused. I've been married to Arlo for 8 years, and my belly still shows no sign of life. My mother-in-law says it's my fault. I've been to all the major hospitals in the country, consulted many renowned doctors, but no one could find the problem. An old Chinese medicine practitioner suggested, have your husband get checked too. Arlo insisted he wasn't sick and had never seen a doctor. Now that Arlo's mistress has had a child, his mother-in-law is even more convinced that I'm the problem. My sister-in-law yawned and sat down at the dining table. Sister-in-law, you can't blame my brother for this. It's because you couldn't have a child, so he had to find another woman to bear one. She ate the breakfast I made while earnestly lecturing me. You do nothing all day at home, and my brother works hard to support you. He's been more than fair to you. I stared at my sister-in-law for a long time. I once treated her like a real sister, took care of her daily needs, and helped her get into college. Now, she was saying things like this. What do you mean I have nothing to do at home every day? Mom is paralyzed, who takes care of her? When you were preparing for college, who helped tutor you? I argued firmly, listing all the things I had done for this family over the years. Have you all been blind to the effort I put into this family all these years? My sister-in-law glanced at me, sneered, and remained unmoved. Effort? What effort have you really made? My brother married you precisely so you could serve my mom. Besides, you eat and drink from our home, isn't it only right that you do some work like a housekeeper? She looked at me as if it were the most natural thing in the world. So all these years, they've just seen me as a housekeeper. Fine, then, whoever wants to be this housekeeper, be my guest. I'm done serving. I slammed the rag down hard on the table and went into my room. Outside, the faint voices of my mother-in-law and sister-in-law drifted in. That old woman can't compare to the new sister-in-law at all. The new sister-in-law is young and beautiful, and she even buys me jewelry. The sister-in-law flashed the Hermes bracelet on her wrist. I chuckled to myself, just one bracelet was enough to win her over. The things I used to buy her had all been fed to the dogs. My mother-in-law suddenly raised her voice. Tell your brother to hurry up and get the paperwork done. Amara's confinement period is long, we can't let my eldest grandson suffer. After Isolde and your brother divorce, let her keep taking care of me. Once the baby is born, she can look after Amara during her confinement. Divorced, and she still wants me to take care of them? That old witch, what a fantasy. The sister-in-law also thought it was impossible and hesitated before reminding her, Mom, she probably won't agree, right? Mother-in-law was indifferent. What do you mean by unwilling? She's just a housewife, all she knows is washing clothes and cooking. Jobs are so hard to find these days, and she's a middle-aged woman. What respectable company would want her? Hearing mother-in-law's words, my sister-in-law let out a giggle. Yeah, she probably can only work as a nanny or a cleaner. Exactly, those are all servant jobs anyway. She might as well work in our house. We're generous enough to even give her a meal. Bang! The door slammed shut. Arlo and I have been childhood sweethearts. At the most innocent age of love, he confessed to me. Later, when he saved my mother, it only confirmed to me that he was the only person I would ever love in this life. When we applied for college, we chose the same school. At university, we were inseparable, the envy of our classmates. At the graduation ceremony, he knelt on both knees, holding a diamond ring, and proposed to me. We had been married less than a year when my mother-in-law suffered a stroke and became paralyzed on one side, needing someone to care for her daily needs. At first, we hired caregivers to look after her. But my mother-in-law had a difficult temper. We went through 5 or 6 caregivers, and each one quit after only a few days. Arlo was so worried he couldn't sleep. His career was just starting to take off, and he was busy and rarely home. My sister-in-law was in her final year of high school, preparing for university entrance exams. To let him focus on building his career, I told him, I'll stay home to take care of Mom and my sister-in-law. He looked at me, hesitant. You just graduated from college and only recently started working. Aren't you sacrificing too much? I met his eyes and comforted him gently. If someone takes care of things at home, you can focus on your career without worries. He pulled me into his arms and kissed my forehead. Wife, you're too good to me. Don't worry, I won't let you down. I nestled against him, tracing circles on his chest with my hand. If you lie to me, I'll cut off your little brother. He pretended to gasp, instinctively shielding himself below. Then, I'll show you how impressive my little brother is right now. He pinned me beneath him, his rapid breath brushing against my cheek. My best friend Eoin knew about my decision and advised me to be cautious. You're a top student, finally finished college, and now becoming a housewife? That's such a waste of your talent. I smiled. Arlo treats me well, he's worth it. Those days were somewhat busy. During the day, I washed clothes, cooked, helped my mother-in-law turn over and clean herself, and took care of her daily needs and meals. At night, I got up several times to assist her to the bathroom. Every day, I went to the market with dark circles under my eyes, buying the freshest ingredients. My sister-in-law was about to take the college entrance exam, so I put all my effort into preparing nutritious meals for her. In my spare time, I helped her organize her high school notes. Unlike her brother, who had been a top student since childhood, she was playful and lazy, falling behind quite a bit in her studies. With my efforts, she, who could only get into a vocational college before, eventually got admitted to a decent university. On the day she received the acceptance letter, my sister-in-law was overjoyed. She grabbed my hand and praised me as the best sister-in-law in the world. Arlo was very busy, often working late into the night. Sometimes he even slept at the office. I felt sorry for his hard work. I carefully simmered bone broth and brought it to him. An employee praised me in front of him, saying, Arlo is so lucky, it makes me want to get married early too. Then you have to find a wife as good as Sister Isolde. Oh, enough, just working and having to eat dog food. Arlo took these words to heart. He looked at me with deep affection in his eyes. Wife, you've worked hard all this time. I will definitely make sure you live a good life. As he said, our days got better and better. He had his own way of doing business. In just a few years, we moved into a big house. Unexpectedly, as life improved, it was a case of new people replacing the old. That day, I was preparing dinner. Amara is pregnant. My hand paused for a moment, then I kept my head down and continued working. So what? Arlo was stunned, not expecting me to be so calm. He tried to justify himself. Honey, I didn't want this either. Mom often nags me, saying our family can't end with us. If you can't have children, I'll have to find another woman to bear them. I still love you the most, I just need a woman to have a child for me. I remained silent. Amara's belly is growing, the child needs a name. Seeing I didn't respond, Arlo hesitated, his voice low. Mom wants us to get a divorce. The hands I was busy with finally stopped moving. I had heard the words at last. From the moment I found out about Arlo's affair, I knew this day would come. I thought I would roar, I thought I would cry uncontrollably. But I didn't. I was just stunned, my chest aching as if pricked by needles. I pressed both hands on the table, struggling to steady the tears welling in my eyes. After a long while, I looked up and met Arlo's eyes. Fine, but I want half the property. Arlo hesitated. My mother-in-law rushed out to stop us. She didn't agree to me taking half the property. In the end, we parted on bad terms. I pulled myself together, took out my suitcase, and started packing. Just then, Arlo came into the room. He placed the divorce papers on the table. Sign them, Amara's belly is getting bigger. I looked at him calmly. I want half the property. Arlo stared at me for a moment, not expecting me to be so resolute. Do you have to be this ruthless? I told you, divorce isn't what I want. You, no way. Want half the property? Not a chance. Before Arlo could finish, my mother-in-law came in and interrupted him. She limped into the room, her steps unsteady. The doctor diagnosed that she would most likely be confined to a wheelchair for life. But I refused to give up. I accompanied her through all kinds of rehabilitation. I even taught myself massage and helped her exercise every day. In the past 2 years, she gradually regained the ability to walk. She shouted at me, "You're just a housewife who only knows how to do laundry and cook. Why should you get half the property?" I don't agree. I glanced at her. I had anticipated this scene long ago. Fortunately, I was well prepared. With a cold smile, I took out the materials I had prepared in advance from my handbag and spread them out on the table one by one. Look, these are all evidence of your son's infidelity. I actually consulted Eoin. Your son is at fault. Even if I only get half the property, it's still less than I deserve. Eoin is a famous divorce lawyer. I told her about Arlo wanting a divorce. She was so angry she cursed loudly. She told me to gather solid evidence. No use for a scumbag, but the money is a must. Arlo picked up the materials, looked over them again, and was stunned. I shook my phone. Your little lover has sent me quite a few things. I still have some exciting photos and videos on my phone. Want to take a look? Mother-in-law's face turned ashen. She clutched her chest in anger, nearly fainting. Arlo supported his mother, his expression equally grim. Yet he still defended his little lover. She might be pregnant, that's why she did something so foolish. Mom, sit down and calm down. I glanced at them sideways and smiled. So you didn't know? I thought your little lover told you everything. Anyway, I'm not in a hurry. But Amara's belly can't wait, you need to make a decision soon. I sat on the bed, crossing my legs, leisurely playing on my phone. Arlo was silent for a moment, then despite his mother's objections, he finally agreed. Maybe out of guilt, he was willing to part with the property. Last time when I brought up divorce, if it weren't for the old lady stopping him, he would have agreed. Wife, I agree to give you half the property, as compensation for all these years. The divorce agreement was revised. I picked up the pen and signed my name without hesitation. We'll go handle the paperwork this afternoon. At the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Amara, holding her belly, walked up to me, her voice trembling with tears, but her eyes were full of pride. Sister Isolde, I'm sorry. If I weren't pregnant, I wouldn't have let Arlo divorce you. I glanced at her belly but said nothing. Even at this point, she still pretends to be weak in front of me. Amara is a recent college graduate, young, beautiful, and full of youthful energy. How they ended up together, I don't know. All I know is that he bought her jewelry, a car, and even a house. All of this was sent to me by Amara herself. She sent me their chat records and intimate photos. She called me an old woman. She said she was pregnant and told me to step aside. I ignored her. Everything she sent, I accepted without question and saved on my phone. Eowyn rushed up to her, standing up for me. Amara, stop pretending. Have you even thought about how you got into the company, and now you've stolen someone else's husband? You really have a thick face. Amara had just come to the company for an interview, and I happened to be delivering food to Arlo. She didn't pass the interview and was crying in the hallway. She said her mother was sick and she urgently needed a job to support her family. I thought about the days when I depended on my mom. Feeling sorry for her, I said a few good words to HR. In the end, HR decided to keep her. She was endlessly grateful to me, almost on her knees. When she found out about my relationship with Arlo, she repeatedly promised to work hard for the boss. And she did work hard enough to climb into the boss's bed. She even got pregnant with the boss's child. When Eowyn snapped at her, Amara hid behind Arlo, looking up at him with pleading eyes. I really admired her acting skills. Where had the fierce energy she used to call me an old woman on WeChat gone? Arlo really fell for it. Not wanting his little lover to be wronged, he shot Eowyn a glare. Isolde, don't be mad at us. You've already received half the property, Arlo has been more than fair to you. I rolled my eyes. That was what I was entitled to in the first place, yet they acted like it was some kind of charity. Amara, I don't care what you think. Arlo is yours now. From now on, he has nothing to do with me, and I don't want to see you in front of me again. Because you make me feel sick. Not wanting to waste words with them anymore, I strode into the Civil Affairs Bureau. The paperwork went smoothly. I was finally free. To celebrate my newfound singlehood, Eowyn dragged me to a bar. Inside, the crowd surged and swirled. Eowyn and I downed drink after drink until we were thoroughly drunk. The driver took me back to the old house. This was the house where my mom and I used to live. My mother-in-law had urged me several times to sell the house. I never listened to her. Now, it seemed I had made the right choice by keeping it. I pulled out the key, about to unlock the door. Someone called my name from behind. Isolde? The voice was filled with surprise and disbelief. I froze for a moment. Who was calling me? I quickly turned around. When I saw the face clearly, I gasped aloud. Kairos? I truly never expected to see Kairos again. Kairos was my high school classmate. It was the beginning of the second year of high school. The homeroom teacher walked into the classroom, followed by a new student. You can sit there, next to Isolde. At that time, our desks were arranged in groups of 3. I sat in the middle, Arlo was on my left, and the seat on the right was still empty. I was bent over doing exercises when I heard the teacher call my name. I suddenly looked up and saw a tall, handsome boy standing at the podium. He was dressed in a white tracksuit and a pair of white sneakers. He looked over in the direction the teacher was pointing, and his dark eyes met mine. His eyes were beautiful, bright and deep. I felt a little shy and smiled at him. Kairos walked to the seat on my right, stuffed his backpack into the drawer, took out his Chinese textbook, and began to listen attentively. Arlo craned his neck to look to my right. He reached out his hand, Arlo. Kairos was momentarily surprised, then also extended his hand. Hello, my name is Kairos. And just like that, the 3 of us became desk mates. Even more coincidentally, we all lived in the same neighborhood. Arlo lived in Building 9, while Kairos and I lived in Building 4. When I found out he rented a place right across from my home, I started inviting him to walk to and from school with me. Before, it was just Arlo and me walking to and from school. Now, the duo had become a trio. Kairos was a bit reluctant at first. I grabbed his arm. Come on, we're all classmates. Arlo and I talked a lot, chattering nonstop all the way. Kairos followed behind quietly, listening to us. My mom was warm-hearted. When she learned he lived alone and was a top student with amazing English skills, she invited him over for dinner every now and then. Kairos, come over whenever you have time. Auntie will cook something delicious for you. Isolde, Kairos is so good at English, you should ask him for help whenever you can. I blinked and nodded eagerly. Of course, Kairos is the top English student in the grade. But, Kairos, there's so much I don't know. Won't you find me annoying? Kairos kept his head down as he ate. No, I won't. Kairos was an excellent student, especially in English, speaking fluent British English. My other subjects were all pretty good, except English, which I was terrible at. Opposite me lived a top student, who was also my deskmate. As an English struggler, I definitely had to seize the opportunity. He had a knack for learning English. Under his guidance, my English improved rapidly. My mom was thrilled. She invited him to our house for meals every day. If he felt shy about coming over, my mom even asked me to deliver the food to him. Old classmates meeting again after many years felt a bit awkward. After a brief exchange of pleasantries, I went inside. Lying on the bed, I sent a WeChat message to Eowyn. I ran into Kairos. Eowyn immediately replied, "Is that the transfer student Kairos?" "Yeah. He still lives right across from my old house." Eowyn sent a mischievous smile emoji. "Fate, huh?" I looked puzzled. "What fate?" "You silly woman, he liked you in high school, don't you get it?" "Me? Don't talk nonsense. He liked me? I don't remember any of that." "I'm not making it up, everyone knew he had a crush on you, only you were blind." "True, back then you were completely focused on Arlo, how could you have noticed anyone else?" Eowyn sent another cryptic message, "Aren't you curious? Why does he just happen to live across from your house now? The house opposite belongs to an elderly couple. How is he still living there? After all these years, did he rent the place across again?" I put down my phone and stared at the ceiling. Memories surfaced. In senior year, after Arlo confessed to me, Kairos gradually drifted away from us. I asked him to walk to and from school together, but he ignored me. When I asked why, he didn't answer. My mom called him to come eat, but he didn't show up. Usually, when I asked him to hang out, he refused, saying, "The college entrance exam is coming up, I don't want to waste time." I was pretty upset about this for a while. When the new semester of senior year started, he went abroad. Since then, we never saw each other again. Eowyn accompanied me on a week-long trip to Yunnan. After 8 years of marriage, taking care of the old lady, I never really had time to travel properly. After we got back, Eowyn asked me what my plans were next. I said I planned to find a job. Eowyn looked at me in disbelief. "You're already a little rich lady, and you still want to work like a beast of burden?" I said, "Just to pass the time, staying at home every day is so boring." Eowyn rolled her eyes, "I don't understand the mind of a rich lady." I started to get down to job hunting. 8 years without working, I almost didn't know how to write a resume anymore. I looked up a lot of information online and spent a whole day working on it, finally finishing my resume. I sent out hundreds of applications. Waited for a long time. Most of them went silent. But there were some replies. "It's not that I've been single for too long, they just think I'm a bit too old." "I'm only 30, how is that considered old?" I was so angry I wanted to smash my keyboard. Just when I was about to lose hope, a company actually invited me for an interview. I was over the moon. Lady Luck finally smiled on me. On the day of the interview, I put on a delicate, light makeup. I had checked beforehand, this was a big company with good benefits all around. I was determined to make the most of it. The HR lady who interviewed me was very warm. She asked some basic questions. Smiling, she said, "Isolde, congratulations, you've passed the first round. Next is the second round, where our CEO will interview you." I was flattered and a bit overwhelmed. Are interviews really this straightforward nowadays? If I hadn't looked up some info online, I would have suspected it was a pyramid scheme. The HR lady was polite and thoughtful, leading me to the CEO's office. She knocked gently on the door. A magnetic male voice came from inside. Come in. The HR opened the door and went in. Kairos, Miss Zhao has passed the initial interview. I followed into the office and exclaimed in surprise. Kairos? I had lunch with Eoin. I told her about the job. What? You got into Kairos's company? Eoin was very excited. She almost spit out the drink she was sipping. Oh my God. She looked at me like she finally understood. I told you, he's interested in you. I was unconvinced. No way. It's just a coincidence. How could it be otherwise? We hadn't seen each other for over 10 years. Even if he really liked me back then, so much time has passed, everything changes. Arlo said he would protect me for life. Yet he still cheated. Love, this thing, I no longer believe in it. The next day, I went to report to the company. Most of my colleagues were younger than me. On my first day at work, I felt a bit out of place. Kairos passed by my workstation from time to time. If you don't understand something, ask your colleagues, or you can come to me. Okay. He turned to look at the other colleagues. Isolde just joined, everyone, please take care of her. A gossip-loving colleague quietly asked HR, what's the relationship between Isolde and Kairos? HR blinked. High school classmates. With this connection to Kairos, I adapted quickly to the new company. The colleagues treated me very well. Kairos also took good care of me. After work on Friday, Kairos invited me to join him at a business gathering. I made a special effort to dress up, changing into high heels I rarely wore. The gathering was full of industry elites. Kairos introduced me to everyone one by one. Glasses clinked, and everyone drank quite a bit. Halfway through, I excused myself to go to the restroom. In the restroom, I opened my phone. I saw a moment posted by Arlo, a happy family of 3. The picture showed Amara with a visible baby bump, nestled in Arlo's arms, both smiling blissfully. I pursed my lips. That smile was a bit too sharp for me to look at. Once, I fantasized about taking a maternity photo shoot with Arlo when I was pregnant. Coming out of the bathroom, I noticed a slight pain in my heel. Looking down, I saw it was actually chafed. So you were here all along. Kairos came out of the room looking for me since I hadn't returned for a while. Seeing him walk toward me, I hurried to meet him. Unexpectedly, I lost my footing and fell forward. Kairos instinctively caught me. I collapsed onto him, my lips landing squarely on his neck. Sorry. I struggled to get up. In that moment, I could hear his pounding heartbeat. His warm breath brushed across my face. My cheeks burned fiercely. I felt so embarrassed I wished I could disappear on the spot. He, however, remained calm. His dark eyes fixed on me, half smiling, half serious. Let's go back. I quickly walked back to the private room. Feeling his gaze on me made me a little guilty. The drinking party ended. The driver asked Kairos, back to the villa or to the Westlake community? The Westlake community was where I lived. Kairos glanced at me. Westlake community. After getting off the car, Kairos suddenly said to me, let me carry you. He had noticed how I was limping as I walked. No need, I can manage on my own. I was about to refuse when he had already lifted me up. The community was very quiet, with only the sound of his footsteps. Do you remember I used to carry you before? He suddenly asked. I recalled. That year when we went hiking, I twisted my ankle, and he carried me back. Yeah. Time flies so fast. Yes, it had been more than 10 years. Kairos walked me to my doorstep. Good night, Isolde. Good night, Kairos. He frowned. Call me Kairos. I hesitated for a second. Oh, okay, Kairos. Back home, after a quick wash-up, I went straight to bed. In the middle of the night, my stomach hurt, I realized my period had started. I went to the bathroom, put on a pad, and returned to bed. The pain was intense, and I drifted in and out of sleep until morning. My phone buzzed once, a message waiting. I opened it and saw the message. Want to go have breakfast together? It was from Kairos. Not convenient, stomach hurts. He didn't reply again. A minute later, there was a knock on the door. I opened it and saw Kairos standing there, his face full of concern. What's wrong? I held my stomach. It's my period, maybe because I drank last night, the pain is bad. Go wash up, I'll take you to the hospital. On the way, he bought breakfast and shoved it into my hand. Eat a little, to settle your stomach. At the hospital, the doctor gave me a painkiller injection. When I went out to pay, I ran into Arlo and Amara. Isolde, what are you doing here? Seeing Kairos beside me, he was surprised. Kairos? You're here too? After all these years, he still recognized Kairos at a glance. Kairos looked at me but didn't answer him. Arlo glanced at me, then at Kairos, with an expression as if he'd seen through the truth. Alright, Isolde, I'm still curious, how did you agree to the divorce? So it was for him. He snorted. Tell me, when did you two start sneaking around together? I clutched my stomach with one hand and braced myself against the wall with the other, barely able to stand. Kairos saw how badly I was hurting and reached out to steady me. Arlo, don't just spew nonsense. Isolde and I are innocent. Arlo sneered, innocent? Kairos, don't think I don't know, you liked Isolde back in high school. If I hadn't confessed to her first, you two would have been together ages ago, right? Kairos didn't deny Arlo's words. I'm giving her to you now, but she's been mine for over 10 years. If you don't mind the dirt, take her. Screw you. Kairos landed a heavy punch on Arlo. Blood trickled from the corner of Arlo's mouth as he glared fiercely at Kairos. Amara gasped and hurried forward to shield Arlo. Everything happened so suddenly. I was stunned, even forgetting the pain in my stomach. So, Kairos liked me? Come on, I'll take you to get a painkiller shot. By the time we got back from the hospital, it was already afternoon. Kairos treated me like a patient. I thought it was a bit over the top. Smiling, I said, I'm not that delicate. He replied, you just rest well, I'll go cook. Seeing him busy in the kitchen, I was quite surprised. You can cook? He glanced back at me, you have to be self-reliant. You can't always mooch off others, right? I laughed and asked him, do you remember in high school, you often came to my house for meals? How could I forget? Your mom's cooking is the best in the world. Actually, I kind of miss those times. The rest of his words were so soft I almost didn't hear them. Isolde. He suddenly called me. Qingming is coming up in a few days. Let's go visit Auntie together. Mentioning my mom, I choked up a little. Okay. I missed her a bit. Eowyn called me. Come quickly. I replied, no time. What's going on? Got a boyfriend? I'm on my period these days, Kairos is taking care of me at my place. Eowyn almost screamed. You two are moving way too fast, aren't you? I hurriedly denied it, it's not what you think, we're just ordinary colleagues. At least, that's what I believed. Eowyn disagreed. Ordinary? He can take care of you all day? I think he likes you. Kairos is handsome and wealthy, you better hold on tight, even a surprise move wouldn't be out of the question. Afraid Eowyn would say more wild things, I quickly hung up. I looked up at Kairos. He was in the kitchen making brown sugar water for me. Suddenly, I remembered. Over the past years, the one always busy in the kitchen was me. Arlo never cooked a single meal for me. Noticing me watching him, Kairos glanced back with a gentle smile. His cooking was good, I ate 2 bowls. After eating, he tidied everything up. Then he left. I tossed and turned in bed, unable to sleep. Suddenly, the power went out. Everything plunged into darkness. Less than a minute later, Kairos burst in with a flashlight. Isolde, are you okay? His arrival surprised me. I'm fine. He sat down beside me. I remember you used to be afraid of the dark. His eyes were fixed on the beam of the flashlight, sparkling. That time, Auntie hadn't come home from work yet, and suddenly the power went out. You were so scared you ran to my house, insisting on staying with me. I recalled, yes, that did happen. Back then, it was just like this. He sat beside me, holding a flashlight, chatting. But now I'm no longer afraid of the dark. I used to sleep with the lights on. But ever since being with Arlo, I've gotten used to the darkness. He said he can't sleep with the lights on. Kairos. I stared into his eyes. Why are you so good to me? He was stunned for a few seconds. He didn't look at me. Without answering, he cautiously asked, did I bother you? He lowered his head, his gaze dim. I clenched my fists, hesitating. In the end, I asked the question I had always wanted to ask, half-jokingly. Did you like me in high school? He lifted his head, staring into my eyes. Not just in high school, I still like you now. From high school until now, it hasn't changed. I know you like Arlo, so I quietly watched you from the sidelines. Even if you got married, I wouldn't disturb you. It wasn't until I found out you were divorced that I reflected on whether I was wrong. If I had been braver back then, maybe the one with you would have been me, not Arlo. Then, you wouldn't have been hurt. He spoke the truth in his heart all at once. He suddenly grabbed my hand. Isolde, I don't want to miss out again. Give me a chance to take care of you, okay? He stared into my eyes, waiting for an answer. I nodded. He smiled and pulled me into his arms. Isolde, I'm so happy. The 30-day cooling-off period was over. Kairos insisted on accompanying me to the Civil Affairs Bureau. After more than 10 days apart, Amara's belly had grown even bigger. Seeing Kairos holding my hand, Arlo's face turned ashen. You really do have an affair. Kairos glanced at me, not angry. Thank you for giving me back such a wonderful Isolde. Arlo didn't respond. The divorce went smoothly. With the divorce certificate in hand, Kairos and I stepped out, waiting for a car. Arlo approached. Kairos, I'm only temporarily entrusting Isolde to you. The one she loves most is still me. Kairos pulled me into the car. He said we were going to meet his parents today. So soon? I'm not ready yet. I felt very uneasy inside. After all, I was a divorced woman. What if his mother didn't like me? I opened the car door, planning to slip away. Maybe next time. He reached out his big hand and pulled me into his arms. Be good, don't be afraid, my mom doesn't eat people. I still struggled. No, let's wait until next time. But I do eat people. He suddenly leaned down and kissed me, urgent and passionate. I wanted to push him away. My mouth was silenced. Kairos's 30th birthday. I had prepared a birthday gift for him. Open it quickly and see what it is. Wow. Do you like it? I remember your dream in high school was to have an aircraft carrier model. He kissed me. I also prepared a gift for you. He took out a box, his face mysterious. I opened it and was stunned. This? It was a sexy black lace nightgown. He held me from behind, his breath warm against my ear as he whispered softly, I want you to wear it, to show me, is that okay? Blushing, I nodded. I went to the bathroom to change. Does it look good? Kairos's gaze was fixed entirely on me, his eyes wide and steady. It looks good. He slowly walked over to me, reached out to wrap his arms around my waist, and pulled me close. I pressed tightly against his firm abs. Isolde, I love you. I looked up at him, clutching his broad back. Kairos, I love you too. I was pregnant. Kairos arranged our wedding in Bali. Eowyn cried her heart out. Isolde, I finally see you getting married again. I teased her. Then why aren't you rushing? I'm on my second marriage, and you're still single. She waved her hand. Ask Kairos if he has a brother, I like that type. If he doesn't have a brother, just give him to me. I don't mind two women serving one man. Get lost. After the playful scuffle, she grabbed my hand and asked seriously, hey, do you know how Arlo is doing? For a while, Arlo kept texting and calling me. I was too lazy to respond. I blocked him. What's wrong with him? Has his mistress had the baby yet? Eowyn pulled out her phone to show me a chat with her doctor friend. Amara gave birth to a dark-skinned baby, clearly not Arlo's. She smiled mysteriously again. Apparently, Arlo went for tests and not only found out the child isn't his, but also that he's infertile. Eowyn burst out laughing. Serves him right. Playing both sides. And he even slandered you, saying you couldn't have children, making you suffer so much. Heaven spares no one. I looked down at my slightly rounded belly and smiled. A year later, I was in the delivery room giving birth, with Kairos by my side. A strange call came through. Isolde, where are you? I've been deceived by Amara. I was wrong, please forgive me, okay? You are the one I love the most, let's get remarried. I frowned deeply, unable to respond in time, but Kairos snatched the phone and shouted into it. Don't disturb my wife while she's giving birth. Get lost. An hour later, the delivery room door finally opened. Congratulations to Isolde and Kairos on the birth of twins, a boy and a girl. Both mother and children are safe.